world of communication and the way we share news has changed drastically over the last 20 years. Though radio and television altered the media landscape, the internet has birthed countless media sources, completely reshaping how we receive and share news. However, constant change breeds uncertainty. At a time when the world is facing huge upheaval and people are looking for words they can trust, print is standing firm in its place on the communication podium.
But it has also raised concerns about the credibility and accuracy of the information being shared.
Compared to traditional media, where they really sift through the information before spreading it out to the public.
The new media can't be trusted as much as the old media because the power that social media has, it can alter the message and it can really change the original message.
In a way, it's very toxic now because of how many people can put in information. So I feel like that would lead to a lot of misinformation.
Not all the news that you get is actually real news. Sometimes it can be fake. That's the thing lah. With some social media, you can get access to it easily, but you need to be wary of the information. So you cannot just trust by one source. You need to search for other sources.
I think the differences definitely has to be how formal the news are.
The professionalism of the message
tend to be more regulated. There's regulations towards it compared to social media, because social media is more on people's opinion about it.
Nowadays, the Gen Z has access to many applications that can put a lot of edits on the news or the information. It can be the most professional news about the Prime Minister or Michelle Yeoh getting the Oscar. Somehow, the Gen Z and millennials can insert humor or make fun of it. It will take away the professionalism of the news.
Because if it's online, then it's probably from a non-credible source. If it's through traditional media, it's with people who have a lot of credibility, they have degrees behind all of this just to put information out to the public. And I think the factor has got to be social media is just one big high school, in my opinion. So a lot of word gets around.
But overall, social media and traditional media have their own strength, of course, when it comes to types of information they exchange. So it's important to approach both in critical eye and verify information before sharing it. So if you do anything when you're online, please think twice. At least think thrice. Because what you say, people will believe. So in order for you to not have fake news, do your research. That's all I'm gonna say.
Age and generations are one of the huge demographics that really contribute to the quality and also the type of the information being sent out to the people.
The age actually plays a really big factor.
So the demographic of social media users in Malaysia can have a significant impact on the type and quality of information exchange on this platform compared to traditional media channels. For example, I feel social media platforms are towards younger generation who are tech savvy and may be more likely to share and engage with content that is visually appealing and easily digestible. For example, TikTok.
I feel the more we mature, the more we perceive news differently or perceive information differently. And I feel because of that, it affects a lot of the media that we see. It's more of hearsay than the usual traditional media. Yeah.
Is it the Gen X? Is it? I don't know. The boomers, the boomers. They have very traditional perceptions. And also, I don't want to say it may be offensive, but I have to say it. They have more close-minded opinions. But it's a totally different situation with today's generation.
You see, when we see TikToks for 15 seconds video, we can just get the information there. We just can immediately grab the information. While for traditional media is more towards to the older generation, who may be more interested in depth analysis and longer form content.
I give you a situation of a woman eating in a restaurant but during the Ramadan. These two will react completely different. The boomers, the older generation, will say that they will judge her by saying, why isn't she being shameful of that? Why is she not hiding that she's on her period? But for the Gen Z, they will feel like, oh, poor her. They will take pity on her and they won't make a big deal out of it.
Overall, the demographics of social media users in Malaysia can impact the type and quality of information exchange on these platforms compared to traditional media channels. But it is also important to note that both types of media can play an important role in shaping public and providing valuable information to the public.
The attitudes definitely change a lot because once we are watching traditional media, we know that it's factual, that it's real information. We don't have to think twice, in my opinion.
Malaysians generally have a positive attitude towards both social media and traditional media as sources of information.
Okay, so both of these social media and also the traditional media has its benefit, has its pros and cons.
There is a growing trend towards relying more on social media for news and information due to its convenience and accessibility, because it's literally at the tip of your fingers, right?
But for old media, you won't get the same effect as new media. Probably the news happened yesterday, but when it arrived at your doorstep, it's already old news.
Social media is seen as more useful for breaking news and providing real-time updates on events. It also allows more diverse perspectives and opinions to be shared, which can be beneficial for fostering open discussions and debates. Like I said, social media is where you can put your opinions, so what do you think about it? This kind of attitude towards social media and traditional media can impact information exchange patterns in several ways. For example, people may be more likely to share news and information on social media platforms, leading to a wider dissemination of information. On the other hand, reliability of information shared on social media can be questionable. It can be questionable because, fake news, right? Which can lead to the spread of misinformation. It is important for individuals to critically evaluate. So when you see news online, you don't really just focus on one outlet such as
social media. When we rely on it, it gives us a lot of doubt because in a way you're relying on something that may not even be true.
You need to go for another source just to support, whether it's the real truth, whenever you feel you're feeling doubtful about the news, better for you to just find other sources.
So I feel like the attitude that we would have from that is that, there's a saying what we usually say, oh, don't believe everything you see on Facebook, and I feel like that plays a huge role because some people do and they tend to believe wrong things.
Social media allows for information to be shared and disseminated as much more quickly.
Very fast.
It's quicker.
Insanely fast, faster than traditional media, in my opinion.
With the rise of social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and news and information can be shared instantly with a large audience.
Everything is on the tip of the finger for the new media. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, everything you can get there. But the limitation for it is just internet. It all depends on how fast is the internet, how expensive is the internet.
This has also led to a more rapid spread of news and information, as well as greater diversity of sources.
Sometimes some people gotta wait 8 p.m. for the night news or for TV3, whereas social media is instant. The second someone dies, their last breath is here and suddenly everyone knows about it.
Social media and traditional media itself clearly portrays both positive and negative impacts on us. It is the decision of an individual to decide how and what to take from the media. Hence, it can be said that both media platforms are a blessing to humanity if used appropriately, and also a weapon of destruction if misrepresented.